Let's go. Hey,
Hey, welcome to
how are
this
you?
joint podcast, everyone.
I know we're gonna do
We
like
should
a
have done a mashup of our names, shouldn't we?
we can try it now. We can call it the Chrissy Greg podcast.
Or the Greg Boss, or
Oh, I like
or
that.
the Greg Boss podcast.
Yeah, I like that. Or the Mum Greg boss.
It could get really confusing.
I'm confused already.
Oh well. Hi everyone. We just decided to do a joint podcast, so this is going out on both of our podcasts, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Love
feels like
it.
we haven't done one of these for a while, have we? So good to
No,
catch up.
No. So Greg, do you want to introduce yourself for anyone who has rudely not listened to any of your previous podcasts on mine?
Cool. So I'm Greg from Arrow, should we say? A dad of one who specialized in helping women who are generally business leaders lose fat, get in shape, get healthy with a mindset led approach.
Oh,
Because I believe you can't separate the brain from the body.
that's snazzy,
I'm
isn't
working
it?
on it. What about you?
Okay.
Introduce yourself, Chrissy.
Hi, I'm Chrissy. I am a mum of one and a dog, and I help busy women. Most of them are mums, but they're not all mums. So we are very inclusive here, who feel like they don't have enough time to lose weight, get fitter, get healthier, and basically smash life because they think that prioritizing themselves is selfish. So, what I do is I help them to strip it back to the things that work.
So does that mean that your clients don't have to fast like a girl?
They don't have to fast like a girl or attach a
Yeah.
Zoe to their arm.
Oh my God. So all right, let's talk about it. So obviously I had a bit of a rant on LinkedIn yesterday and Facebook actually about Dr. Mindy Peltz,
Yeah.
who is a chiropractor. And I'm seeing this a lot on social media. I don't know about you, but there's lots of chiropractors who have moved into weight loss and health and all of that. So it's like cracking backs isn't obviously making the money that it should be. So
Mm-hmm.
now, because they get doctor attached to their name, I think it almost makes people feel like they're an authority.
Mm.
Um, so I came across this Dr. Mindy Peltz. I saw one of her things about fasting where she said it's not about a calorie deficit, it's about fasting and healing your hormones. And to me, and I'll give you I'll ask for your 2 pence in a second. For me, if you don't eat for a certain amount of hours every week, then you're going to eat less calories. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand why it has to be flashy. But she's also made it like you have to fast a certain way in your cycle, like as if women haven't got enough to deal with without these complicated BS.
Mm.
Have at it. Your thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
So I've not, full disclosure, I've not read the book. I have read your posts, and we obviously had a little chatty before we started. The first thing I'm going to say is if I tried to fast a certain way at certain times of my cycle right now, I wouldn't know what the hell is going on, because at 43 years of age, my cycle doesn't know whether it's coming or going. So I don't know how she's applying that logic to women who are perimenopausal, firstly, which is, as you and I both know, one of the most problematic times for weight loss because of the other symptoms attached to perimenopause, not because of your hormones, or that your hormones need cleansing. So if you're not watching on YouTube, you just face palmed.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, carry on.
Um,
You're talking.
so so for me, that's the first thing. You know, I'm really open about this, and me and you have talked about this. Like, my last cycle was 23 days. The one before that was 21 days. The one before that was 64 days. So, you know, what am I meant to do with that? So, and that's a whole topic in itself. The other thing is, moving into your point around as if women don't have enough to do. So one of the biggest objections I deal with is I don't have the time to focus on this. I don't have the capacity to give this the attention it deserves. I don't have the brain space to focus on me. And within that, there's a whole other conversation as well around, well, hold on, what we're trying to do is give you the brain space and the capacity and the energy to do that. So how are you meant to then start learning this whole new way of eating, which is what this is? Let's be really clear. It's a whole new way of eating that is ideally meant to line up with your cycle, which may or may not be 28 days long.
Or you may not even have a cycle anymore.
You might not have a cycle anymore. Then what do you do? Oh man.
Oh, that's it. It's all over. You will never lose weight again.
No, that's it. Your life
Ever,
is doomed.
ever, ever, ever.
And I find it really insulting, quite frankly, as a woman and as a parent and as someone who has worked hard in my field of expertise, passion, genius to create a way that women can do this without causing them stress and making them feel even more inadequate, that someone who can attach the term doctor to their title can just come out with this, and it doesn't seem to be based on a huge amount of science.
And that's the thing, is that even medical doctors, so obviously, as you know, I used to run a gynecology and endocrinology and maternity unit at a big London hospital. A lot of the doctors used to come to me for nutrition advice because it's not a big specialism for any of them. It's more about
Yeah.
medicine and interventions rather than cure. So they don't understand nutrition. A lot of them were confused about, Greg, why is my patient putting on weight? Is it because of her hormones? I'm like, come on, doc, you understand hormones more than me, but it's because they're eating too much.
Yeah.
And I think I understand where this comes from. I've been having a lot of conversations with people who are not yet clients, so they're not in my world yet, but just, I think some women take it almost as an offense when we say you're eating too much. And it's not a judgment on you. This is to you, the listener, about you and your morality or who you are as a person.
Or your
We're just talking
choices.
about science. Yeah, we're just talking about science.
Yeah.
And
And let's not forget that too much does not have to mean you eat 8 plates of food a day, because it just could be that the food you are eating is highly calorie dense and low nutrient density, which means that you're overeating calories, not necessarily amounts of food. Does that make sense?
that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Total sense. And I think this is where we see these big arguments online where, I've had it, oh, well, you're a man, you don't understand what happens for women. I'm like, well, no, I won't, because I'm not. But it allows me to see the blind spots when clients come to me. I can see exactly what's going on without all the emotion about it. Emotion is important, by the way, ladies. Don't lose it. But I think we need to remove the emotion around calorie deficit and just look at it for what it is. It's a scientific term to tell you whether you're eating enough calories too much, or whatever, and why you're not losing weight. It is not a
And
judgment on you as a person.
yeah, and it's a scientific term, scientific fact. And I think people like Mindy Peltz and Tim Spector and now Stephen Bartlett have captured that women don't want to talk about calorie deficit, or they don't want to believe, they want to believe there's something else. They want to believe there's something else because the thought of tracking calories, which by the way is not the only way you need to, the only method you need to lose weight, but by tracking calories and learning about nutrition, that these people have capitalized on that. So they're now presenting them a magic pill. It's not a magic pill. It's just another way of putting you in a calorie deficit. As Greg said at the beginning, fasting at certain times of the month is going to put you in a calorie deficit. You know, the Zoe, which again, I've never used. I've not done a huge amount of, like, I'm not going to waste my time researching something for hours. Like, I understand the concept of it, but it, you know, it tells you that your blood sugar spikes after you've eaten. I'm going to swear, no shit, Sherlock, that's what your blood sugar's meant to do. What things will make your blood sugar spike less? Oh, highly nutritious, dense, whole foods. Funny that.
You mean like vegetables and
Like
meat?
vegetables and beans, and you know, you really nutrient dense grains and like all of those things. Yeah, your blood sugar's meant to spike after you've eaten. That's the point. And
Mhm.
that's the point of insulin, is to clear the glucose from your system. It's meant to happen. And the Zoe will tell you that eating chocolate and biscuits and crisps and cake all day is going to make you have a higher level of blood glucose.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how much that costs actually. I don't know.
have a look if you want. I mean, it's
I don't
interesting
know.
because it's billed as so Zoe is billed as a study, and in most studies, if you recruit me into the study, you pay me to be part of that study. But
Mm-hmm.
actually, you have to pay to be in that study. So
Yeah.
it's a very clever way of running a business. I think it's actually amazing. It's actually really amazing. And you can do the same thing with a £17 kit from Amazon. Yes,
Yeah.
granted, it's a bit painful to take a prick of your finger. Um, but I had a client who took this approach because she wanted to know what was going on. She's pre-diabetic, and we started to test blood sugar. Guess what? She lost weight when she got into a calorie deficit.
I know. I
Like there were
know.
there were a few foods that maybe elevated it a bit longer, and we said, okay, maybe just keep those out for a while. But generally, it was just about what she was eating and how much she was eating.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So memberships plans start from £24.99 per month plus £299.99, so 300 quid for the test kit. Or you can pay for the test kit in 6 interest-free installments of 50 quid. And then they've got 3 different membership options. They've got a 12-month. This is all plus the testing kit of £300. So they've got 25 quid, 40 quid, or 60 quid.
Wow. So it's really interesting because I've seen some comments on their page and people are like, well, I have to pay for this. And I'm like, well, it's kit and I guess it's helping in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, you got to pay for it. So people, when it comes to health and fitness, I think there's this very paradoxical view, like that people will say health is wealth and then not do the wealth bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. This is one that I find such an interesting conversation, because both of us put out loads of free content, including weekly podcasts. We post on social media every day. Like, we've got, do live videos, stuff all over our websites and everything like that, because we want to help people. Okay. That there is a massive driver in me, that I used to be the client that I now help, and I don't ever want anyone to feel like that. So I want to help people. But we also run a business. Let's be really clear. We run a business. We've got bills to pay. Okay. So yes, we do sell services that change people's lives, by the way. And both of us have plenty of testimonials and screenshots that attest to that. Okay. So when you get into a conversation with people about, yes, you can feel better, and let's really keep this to feel better, this, because you could look better and feel like absolute rubbish. They want that, but they aren't willing often to pay for it, or put a price to it, or value it.
And is that, I mean, I'll give it my experience, is that because we don't value ourselves? Because, it's okay to pay a business coach 5K, 6K, 7K sometimes, but to invest that in our own personal health seems a bit like, oh my God, I can't do that.
I really like asking this question, or phrasing it this way. So it's okay to say that I'm not, my health and well-being is not a priority right now. It's okay to say that, but people don't. They'll say spending that money on myself right now isn't a priority. No, but actually put the meaning behind what you're saying, which is my health and well-being is not a priority at the moment. I listen, cost of living, the price of things have increased. If you've had a mortgage renewal, like, I feel you, we all feel you. But what you are saying is that your health and wellness, rubbish word, well-being is not a priority. And that all the other things, the new car, the holiday, the new trainers, the whatever people spend their money on, and we are not here to tell people how to spend their money, but something that I think is really worthwhile considering is, if it's not a priority now, when actually you can do something relatively easy about it, if it's not a priority now, in 5, 10, 15 years, it will become a priority, and the choice will be taken out of your hands.
If I didn't value my microphone, I would drop it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do
that. No, don't do that.
I think, well, actually, no, what I see from when clients come to work with me is, when we talk about health and fitness and all of those things that are about the physical, a lot of women, I think, have been taught by generations before them that actually those things aren't important, and actually career, because if you're like top of your career, that's a real big badge of honor, and you get praised for that, right? So you'll see you'll see lots of, oh, congratulations when you get your degree. You get lots of congratulations when you get the new job or the new whatever, that those kind of things. But no, when, especially when you're younger, no one really talks about, well, did you go for a walk today? Did you eat some vegetables today? Did you? No one praises you for that. So that gets devalued. And if you then want to go and play sport, often, not saying always, or do a sport when you were younger, it was, well, why are you wasting time doing that? Like, you've got exams to study for or whatever. So I think a lot of it comes from those childhood, teenage years where
Yeah.
fitness, health is undervalued. Definitely was something for me. It was like,
Yeah.
it's Sunday morning, and why aren't you going to church? Why don't play football? Go to church.
Yeah.
Like,
Or
So I think
for
that's where,
us, it was sports and clubs and things cost money.
yes,
Sports
yes.
and clubs, and we didn't have a lot of money when me and my brother were growing up. We didn't have a
Mm.
lot of money, but that was it. I don't want, my parents don't listen to this, but I don't, so I don't, but I wouldn't want to upset them. But it was a very much a case of, that wasn't sports, and playing sports and being healthy wasn't something that they valued, because it wasn't something that their parents valued. And
Mm.
so actually, we don't have enough money for you to do that club.
We always manage to find money to do the academic thing,
Mm.
even if it ends up making you miserable, as we see on, some of the places we put some of our content. We see a lot of people who are doing doing jobs, and is my reminder, brilliant, doing jobs when they're not actually really happy, and they spent years studying whatever, and to only find actually they didn't want to do that in the first place, but because of
Mm.
the pressure, the accolades, they've gone into something that they didn't really want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. It's so, and the thing is, then as well, I just made a connection in my head, which it's trying to run away from me. So I'm going to try and grab hold of it before it does. But I think then that's what, if that's what we've been brought up with, and that's what we're used to, and that's what the values and beliefs inside of us that are historical and started when we were young children, they don't fit now. They're like a pair of your pajamas from when you were 5. Like, try putting those on, they're not going to fit you. But I think that also then leads into this belief that taking control of your health and your fitness and your weight are something that is going to be really complicated and time consuming. Now, notice how I didn't say hard, because sometimes it is hard. I said to one of my clients yesterday, we all want to have the lifestyle where we can eat the cake and drink the wine and dunk 6 biscuits in our tea every day and laze around if we want to. We all want that life, but we also want to have the energy that we need to get everything done that we need to get done, and to feel great in our clothes, and like we don't have to hide under massive jumpers or whatever. We want the body that we want and the health, but we don't, we all want that. We all want all of it. You can't have all of it. Even the people who look like they don't have to work for it, they just eat within their maintenance calories. Like, there's nothing magical about those people. Like, if you've got one of those friends who is just really lean and really athletic looking, but to you they don't exercise and they seem to eat all the time, how do you know that they don't just eat one huge meal a day? Like, whatever it is that they're eating, they're just eating within their maintenance calories. Like, that's it.
Well, it's interesting. I think there's a study on this where they got these people that were perceived as the people that could eat pizza and never put on weight, and they actually found that those people just naturally were able to manage their diet in such a way where they could eat one big meal, but they might have 2 smaller meals, and then they might walk a bit more.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
Yeah.
I think what I've seen with my clients is, let's be honest, to anyone listening to this, just I want you to ask yourself this question. Does the thought of losing weight really inspire you? I know for me, it does not inspire me one iota. Like, I actually hate putting losing weight in my content, but I understand that's the language of people.
Mm.
But I actually hate talking about weight loss. Like, I actually hate it. But like for me, I know, to the gym when you don't feel like it. And one of my dreams is I want to be able to wrestle my son at 90.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that means I'm being fairly good Nick. So it means I have to train 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So
Mine is I do not want my son having to help me get up and down off the toilet. Absolutely not. I don't
that means
want
you've got.
to have a carer come in and shower me and bath me. No,
Mm,
I want to do those things myself. I want to be able to get up and down stairs for the rest of my life and not have to have a frame and be able to still have my driving license. I mean, my eyesight is deteriorating by the day, but hey, I want to be able to be independent because I have watched so many family around me not be independent and have to rely on their children and their family. And I don't want that for my son.
mm. That's powerful. So powerful. So, and this is where I think the issue is like people come to us and say, we want to lose weight, but actually there's a bigger dream underneath it. And I think people don't know how to get to that dream and how to access it.
Don't know how to
I think,
connect to it.
yeah, it's been stifled over years and years and years. And it's only when you get to those dreams. It's funny, when I started talking about dreams and those kind of things, maybe about 4 years ago, clients, all of a sudden my results just went,
Yeah.
I started to just like show up and just get results and just do the thing. And they would just be like, hey, Greg, I'm just letting you know I've done what I've said I was going to do. I'm feeling really good. Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
bye. Carry on. you know?
Yeah. 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 It's so true. And you and I have done like similar exercises with our clients because we probably share what they are. But I think your commercial diet plans and things like Zoe, and I bet that book, Fast Like a Girl, has got nothing about your why and your dreams and your future in it. Weight Watchers, Slimming World, Herbalife, they don't have anything about, what's your future look like once you've lost weight, once you're stronger. And you're right, it does sometimes for both of us, it is a bit ick sometimes talking about weight loss, but both of us know that when clients start working with us and they start feeling different because they are taking better care of themselves, that's when it opens their mind to the possible. um and I do think that we can do more to talk about what that looks like, which is what we're doing now, and
I
help
guess
people
so.
to understand. But yeah, and that's why there's a difference if we bring it back to the investing in yourself. That's why there's a difference between paying me or you to work with us or paying Weight Watchers 20 quid a month.
True story. True story. Like your slimming world leader might be great. They might be awesome. They might be fun. You might love them, but they're not going to be in your back pocket when you're struggling with motivation or you're having problems. You can't lose the weight, but you're unsure about what it is. They'll say, "Oh, well, what do they normally say? Have you eaten your sins this week?"
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
what
I
does that
never did
even?
Slimming World. That was one of the ones I didn't do.
They're all. But you can imagine what they're
But
like.
it's try harder next week. Did you mash a banana this week?
Oh, I had one in a shake earlier. Is that going to be all right? I don't want to spike my blood
No,
sugar too much.
no, it's probably.
I mess
But
up my
yeah,
hormones.
yeah, it's true. That's the difference. We sell a different service.
Yeah, for people
And
who want.
there are people out there who are happy to do those commercial diet plans, and they lose weight on them. And there's even a small percentage of them who it stays off for. There is a small percentage of them who it stays off for. Most of them will lose the weight, stop the diet, go back to how they were before, and then go back to Slimming World because, hey, it works for them. But again, if that's what you want to do for the rest of your life,
Mm.
great.
But it's interesting. So I think our audience, they're probably people who are invested in making more money. And I had a client by the name of Amy, and she made nearly 100K working with me. And hands up, I am not a business coach. I have no idea. Well, I maybe have a bit from previous industries and stuff, but I'm not a business coach. But I think what it was seeing how she treated herself, how she looked at her nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
started to open her eyes to what was going on in the rest of her life, because
Yeah,
it's all interconnected.
yeah, yeah.
And
I've
it's
got
gone.
any of my clients that are business owners. Firstly, I had a coffee with one of my clients who runs her own business this morning, and she said to me, I am showing up for myself now, so I'm showing up for my business. And she's busier than she's ever been. She's so, and I open my Instagram and she's all over Instagram talking about her services, which when we started she didn't do. And then for those of them that don't run their own businesses, promotions, having the
Yep.
confidence to go for new jobs, having the confidence. I've even got one client who had the confidence to go to her boss and say, I want to reduce my days. I'm not spending enough time with my kids. I want to go down to 3 days a week. Will you support me? Yes. And she got promoted in the process.
Bam. So it's actually much more than just talking about protein, fats, and carbs.
Yeah. And exercise. Yeah, absolutely. Because you're showing up for yourself.
Mm, definitely. And there was something in my brain now. And you know when it runs away from you?
Yeah, that's what was happening to me earlier.
Yeah, but I didn't catch mine. And now it's gone like the fastest cake in the world. Damn it.
It'll
It's
come
gone.
back.
It will come back. It will come back. It was important. Um, but there's something you said earlier about the amount of content and stuff we put out to the world and the amount of information.
Mm,
And I don't think information per se changes minds. This is just me
no.
spitting. I've been reading a book called The Influential Mind, and it's really eye-opening about where people's beliefs are so ingrained that even if you give them more statistics and information, they still don't change their mind. They actually try and use that information to make their argument stronger.
Mm.
Really scary stuff.
It
Really.
Well, I mean, just stripping it down to the basics of what you've just said, the people that take our information and apply it and get results don't need me and you.
Or they come and work with, or they message us and go, I've done what you told me to do. I need to come and get more results. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. But it's not information. It's understand. I think it always comes back to understanding why and the simplicity as well. So
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to talk about this anyway, but so for me, a lot of my clients come to me having a million things running around their brain about what they need to do and just being really confused and overwhelmed about which strategy they should follow. And so they might have all the information, but it's conflicting and they're overwhelmed and don't know which one to start first. So that's where we come in to strip that back in the context of their lives and help them apply it. Because what we do in the face of calories in versus calories out, protein steps, training, sleep, rest, manage stress, not rocket science. It's not rocket science, but applying it to your life and making it stick and making it sustainable and making it something that you don't give up on after every 2 or 3 days is where we can help. And Wendy at Weight Watchers can't.
Implementation over information.
Yeah.
Got it. So I've got a question. Was there anything else we had on our list, by the way, just so I'm clear, so I'm just make sure we haven't.
Simplicity, the new fads, money and investing, parental guilt.
Ooh, all right.
Parental guilt's a good one because it's the summer holidays, right?
Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of these posts about mum guilt and stuff, and I'm going to just simplify it my way. I call my clients tigers because they have stretch marks and they're just tiger stripes.
Right.
And I showed them like a video the other day, right? And it was like a tiger, the mother tiger going out and leaving her cubs to go and hunt.
Mm.
Do you think she's guilty? Do you think that she's guilty and going, oh, I better spend some more time with them? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a parent. Time with kids is precious, but there are times when you have to work, or you have to do things. And I think sometimes we're preparing kids for us to be around them all the time. And I think we did a podcast about this, which I might reshare. It was about making time for yourself. It was an amazing podcast. I might just resend it out to people. But I think we're creating this guilt for no reason. Just my thought.
Yeah, so I agree with you. So my son's 12, so he's a bit younger than your son. But today, so it is, what day is it? Tuesday. It's the 1st of August as me and Greg are recording this, and I left the house at 9:15. I went to the gym, then I met a client at 11 o'clock for coffee, and I got home at about 12:15. So I was gone for 3 hours. I came home, I showered, I made my lunch. He wasn't hungry for his. I said, okay, but I've got a podcast recording and then I've got a client call. So if you come home at 2 o'clock wanting food, and he was like, I'll make it myself. And about 10, 15 minutes into recording this podcast, he came in, I could smell the toaster. He's made himself his lunch. Do I feel guilty? No. Because I have, it's his first real year of independence. This summer is his first summer of independence. And he's made friends from secondary school in the next town and everything. And we've got an understanding, because at the beginning of the holidays, I sat him down and I said, just because I am at home does not mean I can taxi you around every day. If you want to see your friends, it has to be pre-arranged. You can't just walk into my office and say, can you take me to Harpenden? Because I have work. I will do things for you if you do things for me. So this morning, you clear your bedroom up and you take all those dirty glasses downstairs. I'll leave you a smoothie in the fridge. And then if you want to go somewhere later on, when I've finished talking to everyone I need to talk to, I'll take you.
It's almost like there's this expectation that you're going to be around the kids all the time, and it's always going to be.
Alexa was just telling me that someone was at the front door. Sorry, go on.
That's all right. Hello to the person.
I don't know that.
That's brilliant. So, was going to say, yeah. So I think there's this. It's almost like the summer holidays have rocked up, and everyone set this expectation of, right, I'm going to make sure every minute of my kid's day is going to be filled with some enjoyment, something. And I think that almost creates this dopamine hit that we see around the world now, where kids are always needing something to stimulate them. What happened to them playing by themselves? What happened to them discovering and learning stuff for themselves? But we can't helicopter around them all the time. We're trying to grow adults here, not kind of that dopamine,
not big giant children.
Yes. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
get them to clean some stuff, get them to go and play in the garden, get dirty, get them, like, you don't need to be around them all the time. You can, and I think that actually makes the moments when you do spend time, it doesn't have to be an expensive super day out. It can actually just be, we're going to go do something small, but they'll remember those small things.
Yeah. 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 And and that starts with, all of that starts with you as a parent. My brother and my sister-in-law have got COVID, and they have got a 4-year-old who is full on. He is an energetic little boy, and he needs to go outside a lot. But on Sunday, they both felt like rubbish. And they said to him, we really don't feel very well. We need you to just be okay with being indoors and playing with your toys here and watching some TV and just keeping yourself occupied. And he was fine.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. No guilt,
Yeah.
because they really went well. Like, they felt like shit.
Yeah.
So I just, and that starts with you setting your boundaries and explaining that. And it doesn't matter, your children don't have to be 12 for you to do that. Like, your children can be younger. Okay, a bit different if you've just had a baby or whatever. Like, that is a bit different. But allowing children to experience a bit of boredom and use their imaginations. Wow, mind-blowing.
I know, it's crazy, right? It's absolutely crazy. I had a controversial topic.
Go on.
Really quickly. We go about 10 minutes or so. The body positivity movement.
Oh, love this.
Is it really positive?
So, my take on this is that, listen, I work with some ladies who have a long journey ahead of them, and I'm not being disrespectful. They know that themselves. So I have some ladies that are, really working to get themselves out of an unhealthy place in life. Okay. And every week we work on celebrating what their body has done for them that week on their journey. Because my belief is that just because you're not in the body that you want just yet does not mean you should treat that body, think about that body, speak about that body negatively. You can want to lose weight, be healthier, fitter, stronger, but still love the body you're currently in.
Amen.
Do I believe that it's right to preach to people that love the size you are, health at any size, all of that stuff? No. I know that there are, let's take Gymshark, for example. They have a lot of influencers, not all of them are, but they have a lot of influencers who are plus size influencers, right? Who use TikTok and Instagram, and they show their workouts in their Gymshark gear, and they are in larger bodies. That's brilliant, because you and I both know that undertaking exercise regularly, irrespective of how much body fat you are carrying, is one of the best decisions you can make for yourself. You will reduce your risk of all-cause mortality by undertaking regular exercise. But you can still be at an unhealthy body weight with unhealthy amounts of body fat and be a Gymshark influencer.
I think you pretty much nailed it. Yeah, you're right. It's so interesting that as soon as you post about weight loss and aesthetics, because there was a comment on one of my posts the other day, and I was talking about, a lot of my clients, they want to have like a nice toned back so that when they go backless, it looks hot. They want to have arms that people are like, how did you do that? I want those arms. Like, for me, if I don't look and feel a certain way, I don't perform a certain way. It's just part of me and part of my psyche. There's nothing wrong with it. But you're right, you can be carrying a higher percent of body fat or a lower percent of body fat and want to change that. You could want to put on some muscle.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because you can be a really low body weight and body fat percentage and be unhealthy. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think, why is it okay to preach body positivity and tell people like me and you we are, because I had one of these a little while ago. She told me that, you know, I was out of order for talking about how women want to look good naked.
I
Right.
remember
Do you
that.
remember that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
And why is it okay for her to tell me that I shouldn't be preaching that? But it's not okay vice versa. Why is it okay to preach about being a certain size and health at any size, but it's not okay for us to say, well, actually, you are putting your health at risk?
Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? It's like we have to stop, but they can't stop. It's a really weird phenomenon, isn't it? It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, so it's okay for you, but I'm not allowed to. Okay, I see how this
Yeah.
body positive thing works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I just don't engage with it, actually. There's a few people that I have been connected with that I've removed the connection, because it's I absolutely agree with the message, love the body you're in, and your body is amazing and it's the only body you're ever going to have.
Yep.
But actually, there is nothing wrong with wanting to change how you feel when you look in the mirror.
Nothing
And
at
that's
all.
what it comes down to.
Nothing at all. So I've got one last thing I just wanted to bring up, because I'm enjoying it so much, and I know we could talk forever. What is health?
So for me, because I obviously come from a bit of a mental health standpoint of view as well, because that's how I got into doing this. For me, health is a really individualized concept. But for everyone, health is about physical health, mental health, social health, environmental health, and all the other words that I can't remember what they are now. Like, your health, to me, is about your whole your whole being, your whole environment. So it's about having the energy that you want to do the things you want to do and you need to do every day. It's about feeling your best mentally. It's about having healthy relationships, because don't forget, you can be in really rubbish relationships that can lead to you feeling really unhealthy. It's about feeling like you've got a purpose. It's about looking to your future and feeling like it's going to be a great one. For me, it's everything. It is the life that you lead.
Awesome. I like that. It's interesting.
What is it to you?
For me, it's just I try and make it very simple. The absence of dis-ease.
I read that somewhere.
That could be mental, physical, whatever. But the because it's really interesting. I've been thinking about this a lot. How we like to conceptualize things when there is a standard definition of it. So I'm not saying yours was wrong. It was beautiful, but it was just really funny. Like, if I said to someone, "What's gravity?" everyone's like, "Well, it's the force that brings apples out of the tree, right? It's the reason why I fall over." But the minute you say health, well, it's different for everybody. It's really interesting how for certain things we apply our concepts, but for certain things, it's actually for things we can't change, we apply definition. For things we can change, we apply concepts. Hey, I'm all right. I'm healthy as I am. Yeah.
Well, I think that for me, like, some people, when you say environment, they might say, well, my house, I'm happy with my house. Like, it's not important to me what area I live in or what type of house I live in or things like that. Whereas to other people it is. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's just something that's been on my mind. I haven't had the chance to discuss it with anybody. It's just interesting how with health, it's like you'll say to someone, "Are you healthy?" And they'll say yes. But then if they get up, they're like, "Oh, that hurts. That's a bit uncomfortable." And I'm like, "So are you healthy, or does health mean that you don't have to go to the doctors about it?"
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Just
Interesting.
something for people to think about. Like, do you have dis-ease somewhere in your life? Because that's the measure of. It's interesting.
Very good. Very good. This has been
That
awesome.
as always. Where can people find your podcast?
The Mum Boss Method podcast. And then you can come and check out the mumbossmethod.com and find all of the things, the podcast, the blogs, how you can work with me, how to follow me on social media. Come check it out. What about you?
The Greg Fearon podcast, nice and simple. And my website is gregfearon.co.uk, and I'm Greg Fearon everywhere: Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta sometimes when I post on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find out how you can work with me, talk to me, converse. Yeah, all good.
Nice.
So if you're listening to this, if you're on Apple, give this a review. And if there's any takeaways, obviously get in contact with either of us. We'll put both of our socials. I'll put it in my social notes.
Yeah.
Christy will put it in hers. And yeah, come and say hello.
Woo.
So, yeah.
Thanks. Thanks. That was awesome.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
See you later, everyone.
Take care, peeps.
Bye.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.